Just a reminder to not store red sauce in Tupperware. Doge, Harvard student who dropped out to join the Doge team, admits he's lost friends and is a pariah on campus now. It's always kind of interesting to me that conservatives are very upset at the idea that they're judged for the things they do. Trump. I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have $30. I think they can have $3 or $4. They don't need to have 250 pencils, that's too many pencils, they can have 5. Yeah, so the golden toilet guy thinks your kid has too much. The guy that flies around in massive private jets thinks your kid should have less toys because of his stupid decisions? Rain. Breaking. Jasmine Crockett. Instead of the president cosplaying as the Pope, he may want to cosplay as the President of the United States. I mean, to be completely real, the main people he was pissing off with his trolling, if you can even call it that, and just not idiocy, was his own base. If as president you answer, I don't know, when asked if you'll follow the Constitution, you have violated your oath of office and should be removed. Yeah, what happened to that old thing, the Constitution? Did that just kind of stop existing in the Big 25? Democrats are so jealous. They don't have a Donald Trump, but they would give anything to have him, but they don't. They're like a jealous girl that got tossed to the side. Psycho. Right, you don't have to sign your tweets at the end, by the way. Am Simple Man. Trump fire FAA employee. Plane people. Now plane run bad. Take money from plane. Now plane work bad. Me understand. Not complex issue. Not hard issue. Me get it. Same with government. Take money from government. Government now bad. Take more money from government to make government good. Doesn't work like that. Government bad. Corruption in broad daylight. Trump will host a private dinner later this month for the top buyers of his meme coin, which has made him the world's newest crypto billionaire. The top 25 coin buyers will get a VIP White House tour. Yeah, let's call it what it is. Corruption. It's going to be quite interesting if a Dem gets in next election and they actually investigate what all these guys have been doing. Cause hey, it's even more than just Trump. Seriously, where in the US is the gas price below $2 a gallon? Trump, I think it's actually working out better than we anticipated. Did you see gasoline is down in many cases, in many states below $2 a gallon, $1.98, $1.99, $1.77. I mean, I've seen it in one state, the state of denial. And hey, if you don't live in the state of denial, you should totally subscribe, because according to YouTube statistics, most of you aren't. So, what are you waiting for? Click that button. First Germany, then Canada, and now Australia. Guess what? Anti-fascists are making a global comeback. Cause guess what, dear viewer, as much as some of the news is bad, there's still people with brains. Always remember that. Donald Trump. By not trading with China, we're losing nothing, so we're saving $1 trillion, that's a lot. The dumbest president in history. So which one is it? Losing nothing or saving $1 trillion? Yeah, it was costing me to put gas in my car to go to work. I had a trade deficit with the gas station. Those assholes were buying nothing from me. So I quit my job, so now I'm saving all that money I would have spent on gas. That's what this fucking sounds like, this fucking idiot. I never needed GDP anyway. I've gone my whole life without GDP. Cue Trump constantly complaining about all the mean questions he keeps getting asked as he keeps fucking up everything. This is why no one listens to you, you're just so negative. Why don't you focus on all the good? He said it himself. If you take out all the negative numbers, things look really positive. Why open Alcatraz when you have the most cost-effective option of all time? A commenter from the Midas Touch YouTube channel has a suggestion. Forget Alcatraz, just turn Mar-a-Lago into a prison. The criminals are already there. The Donald Trump administration has now terminated grants that have been used to fund PBS Kids programming. Trump's Department of Education will now prioritize funding for meaningful learning and improving student outcomes instead of diverse ideologies. The woke propaganda in question, and it's just cartoons/shows telling you how to be a good person and helping you learn. When I grew up, the word woke was only used to describe what time I got out of bed. I miss those days. Back then, it was probably politically correct or SJW, depending on your age. The term PC being used as a pejorative was typically by your thinly veiled racist uncle who listened to Rush Limbaugh, and everybody in the family avoided engaging with them on anything remotely political. Wow, did we have the same uncle? That's exactly how it was. Now he's not so thinly veiled though, just blatantly racist. I love this for her. Linda McMahon wrote Harvard a letter to which they responded by noting areas that are in need of corrections and then posted it on social media. Great job, Harvard. See, if Linda McMahon could read, she would be very upset. Too many stone cold stunners. Linda took the worst stunners in history. Makes sense. Aside from Vince a couple of years ago at Mania, Vince tore both his quads at the same time trying to get into the ring at Royal Rumble. Fair play to him, he still kept the show going, but how the fuck are your body and mind so stupid that you tear both fucking quads? See, you don't understand. It's the age-old saying, if you're a good wrestler and good wrestler presenter, that must mean you might be the best in the world at educating the masses. No one can deny he's on a roll. JD Vance broke the national championship trophy, then visited the Pope who died the next day, then visited India and a terrorist attack happened and a war broke out, then endorsed his brother for mayor who lost 83 to 11%. So hey, what's next on the agenda? I'm starting to think he's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse rolled into one chubby, eye-lined couch humper. This comment is both brutal and beautiful. Well done, internet stranger. More likely the early stages of the Antichrist, slowly coming into his own as his dark powers awaken. Carney should just stand up and go. Reporter, is there anything Carney can say to you in the course of your meetings that may get you to lift the tariffs on Canada? No. Why not? That's just the way it is. The geniuses behind the tariff strategy already know it's damaging to US economics, but it's another mechanism that accomplishes the following. Implicitly raises taxes on the poor as a flat rate, replaces a progressive income tax with a regressive flat tax, starves the federal beast and damages long-term economics of the government, steals taxing authority from Congress, and in the name of national emergency over fentanyl? And the trade deficit itself, which is bogus, allows the administration to pick and choose winners or selectively hurt dissenting businesses or states, provides an opportunity for leaders and corporations to bribe the administration directly to get selective tariff relief. The only thing Trump understands is money in his personal bank account. The rich are just along for the ride because they see a benefit in it for themselves. Great explanation for the reasoning behind tariffs. I always thought he was like Dee Dee in Dexter's lab going, ooh, what does this button do? And then, what'll you give me to stop pushing this button? He wants the village people construction worker. Trump, President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help. He's building his library in Chicago, and it's a disaster. He said something to the effect of, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. He didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers. The fuck? I'm one of those tough, mean construction workers, and even stupid old me knows this guy's a piece of shit. Funny how good, hard, tough, mean doesn't actually have to indicate a raging MAGA arsehole. There is something seriously wrong with this man and his supporters. We're all trying to find the DEI who did this. See, cause when in doubt, it's the DEI's fault. They didn't learn, and now they pay the consequences. They voted for Trump, and now their son is in ICE detention. Green card holder from Argentina held in South Georgia's Stewart Detention Center. Right, I get it when people say not to tell "I told you so" to these people and rub their trauma in their face, but it's hard to feel any sympathy when people were told time and time again what would happen, and yet still ignored it. It is also hard to feel for those people when your own rights were threatened and you voted against Trump, but had to suffer the same consequences of their actions as those people. That being said, we will still fight against the evil that's Trump's policies and his cabinet of chaos for their benefit, because stopping this is mutually beneficial. Yeah, but they're not suffering though. Their son who couldn't vote is. I feel bad for that kid, but these idiots deserve all the guilt and pain they feel. True, an extra reason to fight against Trump's policies, the sins of the father and all that fun stuff. There is a difference between not having any sympathy, like none whatsoever, at all, and actively rubbing their faces in it. The problem is, we all know a maggot who would taunt and spit on you if the situation was reversed. Fuck these people. A defining characteristic of conservatism seems to be a fuck you and it until it affects something I care about, then I'll make an exception for those they care about. For only the case that directly affects me. Everyone else can still go and fuck themselves. Right, so is it conservatism or narcissism? They're putting it in the dogs, they're putting it in the cats. Bondi, they put it in Xanax, they put it in this Adderall, they put it in this Molly. The date drug, or the party drug, something called Molly. Bondi is from Florida. She knows damn well what Molly is. I believe it's the official party drug of the state of Florida. But hey, MAGA is a hell of a drug. MAGA has produced more victims than fentanyl and oxycodone together. Probably autocorrect victim, but it's oxycodone. Oxytocin is a neurotransmitter. I don't even know if I said them right, probably not. I'm really bad at pronouncing stuff. MAGA is so dumb, it's guaranteed that at least one of them has tried snorting OxyClean. Wasn't this his COVID advice? No, he wanted doctors to inject it into patients already in respiratory distress. I mean, hey, this is one of many absolutely stupid pieces of advice he gave during COVID. Here we go, the banker meets the bankrupter. Canada versus US. Trump to Carney. You see the new and improved Oval Office as it becomes more and more beautiful with love and 24 karat gold. That always helps too. See, I like how Trump always likes covering everything in gold and calling everything golden, like the Golden Age. But in my eyes, the only gold that I can see is fool's gold. Trump wants Canada to bow down and kiss the ring, but that's not how friendships work. It should be an equal partnership. Reporter, what's the top concession you want out of Canada? Trump, friendship. Reporter, that's not a concession. If it's not a concession, why do I have to spend so much to get people to do it with me? Why do people instantly hate me? Saves time. No matter how often they repeat it, never allow their lies to become truth. The rad due process is to protect civilians from their government, not to protect foreign trespassers from removal. Due process guarantees the rights of a criminal defendant facing prosecution, not an illegal alien facing deportation. And not really surprising, Stephen Miller is lying to you. The Supreme Court has emphasized for generations that every person gets due process. He is none other than Antonin Scalia in 1993. It is well established that the Fifth Amendment entitles aliens as well to due process of law in deportation proceedings. What? MAGA lies? Next thing you're gonna tell me is the sky is blue. Exactly. It is working. Thousands take to the street on May Day. 150 university and college presidents issue a statement condemning the Trump regime. Hundreds of law firms back firms fighting Trump's EOs in court. These are dark times, to be sure, but seeds of hope are springing up everywhere. It is so nice to see a leader who can speak eloquently and stand up to bullies. Carney to Trump, there are some places that are never for sale. Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign, it is not for sale. It won't be for sale ever. And do you know who the owners of Canada are? Guess what? The Canadian people. But hey, he probably did that to throw off Trump, so probably for the next month, he's going to be looking for John Canada to buy Canada off of. I'm sure it's got to be pretty hard to take a cut this big, and now only make $10 million a year, while your average employee can barely pay the rent. Y'all should pray for Brian. It's been a really tough time for him. Target slashes CEO Brian Cornell's pay by 45% as retail giant struggles. Target really should have done the opposite direction and tried to make itself into a more ethical company. They weren't going to get the crowd they're appealing to by caving into Trump. They made the biggest mistake ever. They forgot that mostly young, college-educated people shop at Target. So you're obviously alienating them by stopping DEI before Trump even got his pen in his hand. You assume Target did it for Trump? My view is all CEOs were itching to dump DEI and are using Trump as an excuse and shield. They save millions and don't have to be accountable. Best deal ever. Your calls are working. Let's keep the pressure up. If you're represented by a Republican, tell them to reject Trump's tax scam and massive giveaways to billionaires, all of which stick everyday Americans with the bill. A few Republicans are saying that they can't support the Republican budget bill because of massive cuts to Medicaid, so the committee votes have been delayed. The protests, office calling, and advocacy are working. You should keep up the pressure. The wise words of Donald Pump. We're gonna put down the price that people are gonna have to pay to shop in the United States. Think of us as a super luxury store, a store that has all the goods. None of what he's saying makes any sense. It's just pure gibberish from a profoundly ordered mind. This fargle-bargle isn't going to help consumer confidence, or anything in that matter. A section titled "What?" in a chapter titled "What?" It's important to note here that our understanding of Kennedy's disbelief in germ theory. I see that the Secretary of Health or whatever doesn't believe in the basics of medicine. Kennedy's disbelief in germ theory isn't based on speculation or deduction. It's based on Kennedy's own words. He wrote an entire section on it in his 2021 book, vilifying Fauci, titled The Real Anthony Fauci. The section is titled Miasma versus Germ Theory. In the chapter, The White Man's Burden. What the fuck? I literally just gasped. Look at the dates. Not saying anyone should, but I bet you could convince Trump to reopen Alcatraz in under 20 minutes. Oh. Yeah. Oh, that aged well. Even then, it's not like Alcatraz just needs a coat of paint. The entire thing would have to be torn down and rebuilt. But yeah, let's stop government waste, or something like that. Well, when you want your own hellhole, then no expense can be spared. He's jealous of El Salvador. Even dumber, Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood was on the local PBS the evening he shorted that revelation. Trump, the short of the deal. I doubt he even knows what PBS is though. Oh, no, he does, because he wants to defund it. GlobalX, airline for Trump's deportations, hacked. Anonymous has decided to enforce the judge's order since you and your sycophant staff ignore lawful orders that go against your fascist plans. I don't need to have that Karl Rove of Fox News tell me what to do. The guy's a total loser who's been wrong about almost everything. Old man yells at TV. Trump just backed down from his plans to defund Maine schools after the state's governor sued him. I mean, hey, pushback works, guys. Trump previously demanded a full-throated apology from the governor for not obeying him, and she refused to do so. Guess what? Not surprising, Donald Trump is afraid of strong, capable women. Breaking news, the USDA has dropped their lawsuit against Maine over its transgender student athletic policies. I told him I'd see him in court. Well, we did see him in court. And guess what? We won, Governor Janet Mills said. And so is the MAGA cult, and so-called centrists that couldn't decide who to vote for. They are all like those small dogs barking at everything to show how alpha they are, but back off as soon as they actually have to face something. Fat billionaire. I grab... and I don't pay taxes. America. Well, obviously this is the guy. Come on.